You can't have kids, so you're losing to me as a woman. You might be done as a woman, but if I say I'm single, men flock to me, you know? Just like that, Jennifer, the wife of my brother-in-law Jason, always looked down on me. I always felt stressed out because of Jennifer. But I never imagined that Jennifer had such a secret. My name is Emily. Right now, I'm dealing with a very troubling issue. The stress from my brother-in-law's wife is overwhelming. Jason's wife's name is Jennifer. She's the daughter of a former CEO, and she's quite headstrong. Jennifer's family company seems to have gone bankrupt, but she still acts like a spoiled princess. She's the type who isn't satisfied unless she's the best at everything. Because of this, she always treats me with an excessively superior attitude. Lately, she seems to be upset that I'm closer with Patricia than I am with her. The other day, when Patricia was thanking me, Jennifer saw it and said, "Trying to be the perfect daughter-in-law is so annoying. Living together even though you're the wife of the younger son? You must be after the inheritance." I can understand why Jason's wife feels this way, but there's no reason for her to say such things. The reason being, it was Jennifer, Jason's wife, who refused to live with Patricia. I mean, if she didn't like me being close to Patricia, she should have lived with her in the first place. Initially, Jason's family was going to live together, but right before moving, Jason's wife refused. Moreover, she said, "Living together is so old-fashioned. Patricia should go to a facility." Because of that, my husband and I stepped up. Patricia is a gentle person, and I had no reservations about living with her. Jennifer kept pushing for a facility until the end, but after discussions, my husband and I decided to live with Patricia. Even then, Jason's wife complained, saying, "You don't really want to live together, but you're acting like the perfect wife, which makes me look bad. It seems like I'm the inadequate wife compared to you." On the day we began living together, I received a message from Jennifer. The message read, "I won't be taking care of Patricia at all. You handle all the caregiving." And to think, I never expected Jennifer to help out in the first place. The reason being, Jennifer doesn't do housework. Well, to be precise, she doesn't even try. Whether it's remnants of her princess upbringing or just plain laziness, I don't know. Despite not working outside, it seems she leaves all the household tasks to Jason. Jason works for a major company and is quite accomplished, but he seems to have poor judgment when it comes to women. He's head over heels for Jennifer and tends to do whatever she says. Because of this, Jennifer takes advantage of his affection and becomes even more arrogant. Jennifer occasionally visits our home and always makes unreasonable requests, acting as if she sees me as her maid. Yesterday, she dumped a pile of clothes on me and said, "Emily, iron all of these for me." "I can't because I'm afraid of getting burned." Do they think I'm always free just because I work as a web writer from home? Sorry, but I'm busy with work and can't do that. When I refused, she scoffed and said, "Work? Aren't you just staring at a computer? Stop playing and do as I say." I'm not playing. This is my job. Jennifer, since you have so much free time, why don't you try doing it yourself? Ironing isn't that hard, you know? When I talked back, she glared at me and said, "Do you enjoy bullying me like that?" Jennifer always acts high and mighty, but the moment I push back even a little, she suddenly plays the victim. I said with exasperation, "I'm not bullying you. Isn't it more like you're bullying me, always pushing work on me every day?" Upon hearing that, she ran to Patricia in the next room and started complaining. "Patricia, she called me useless just because I can't iron. I can't because of my chronic pain in my hands." "Is that so? I'll iron it for you. Just leave it there," said Patricia, the mother-in-law, kindly to Jennifer. Even after that, Jennifer badmouthed me to Patricia and then left with a contented look. After Jennifer left, Patricia called me over and said, "I'm sorry, Emily. I have to agree with Jennifer, or things will get even more troublesome." Patricia apologized to me, looking remorseful. "It's okay, Patricia. You did nothing wrong. I knew Patricia trusted me." Even the kind-hearted Patricia was having a tough time with the eldest son's wife. Then one day, something happened. Jason, the brother-in-law, called Patricia on the phone. Jennifer was pregnant. "It's her first time, so Jennifer might be nervous. I'm counting on you." That's what Jason apparently told Patricia. To be honest, I couldn't genuinely rejoice. The reason being, I've been trying to get pregnant for the past 3 years. My husband and I, both loving children dearly, had been waiting for this blessing, but it hadn't come our way. I had undergone fertility treatments until recently, but it was mentally and financially draining, so I had to quit. And now, Jennifer's pregnancy. Knowing this, I was certain Jennifer would flaunt her superiority over me. She'd always acted superior about her looks, upbringing, financial status, and other things, but now it would be about having a child, something that would hurt me deeply. The very next day, Jennifer arrived clearly in a good mood. Sure enough, as soon as she saw me, she said, "Being pregnant is so hard. There's morning sickness, fatigue, and your body doesn't move like it used to. You probably wouldn't understand since you've never been pregnant." That must be tough. Holding back the surge of negative emotions, I replied. She then stretched out her leg to me and said, "Yeah, it is. Oh, my legs feel so swollen. Emily, can you give me a massage?" "Excuse me?" Jennifer, seeing my confusion, pressed on, saying, "Poor circulation is bad for the baby. You'll massage them for me, right?" It almost sounded like a threat. With no choice, I began massaging Jennifer's feet. While I massaged, she boasted, "The real happiness for a woman is having a child. A life without kids is just like trash. Emily, you should have kids soon. If you wait too long, you'll miss out on being a real woman." By the time Jennifer left, my heart was torn apart, and I genuinely wished to never see Jennifer again. But she continued to come over, claiming, "I'm pregnant, so I deserve to be spoiled." And she became even more demanding. Dealing with Jennifer like this, I felt immense stress and even developed alopecia areata. Eventually, as her pregnancy progressed, Jennifer safely gave birth to twin girls via a cesarean section. The names of the children are Rebecca and Nancy. The 2 girls were so angelic and adorable, it was hard to believe they were Jennifer's children. The stress from Jennifer was still present, but the children's presence healed my heart. About 2 years passed. Jason decided to move to a location a bit far off. But Jennifer didn't want to go to the countryside, so Jason chose to go on his own, leaving his family behind. As soon as Jason was away, Jennifer started acting out. She began to visit our home daily with the kids in tow. And she would leave the children with me and head out into the night. She went out so often that when I confronted her, she'd retort, "I need a break sometimes. What would you do if I got a breakdown from child rearing? Would you take responsibility?" So it became routine for me to cook dinner for the kids, feed them, and bathe them. Taking care of the adorable Rebecca and Nancy wasn't a burden for me. In fact, not having children of my own, I cherished the motherly feeling. However, the young Rebecca and Nancy would sometimes cry out, "Where's Mommy?" Every time, it felt like my heart was being crushed. It seemed Patricia felt the same way, saying with a saddened tone, "Where could she possibly go every day, leaving such little ones behind?" I felt so sorry for Rebecca and Nancy that I decided to contact Jason. When I explained the situation, he exclaimed, "What? This has been happening while I'm away?" He immediately apologized, saying, "I'm so sorry for causing trouble for Patricia." "No worries, but don't you think it's a good idea to look into what Jennifer is up to?" When I mentioned that, Jason responded, seemingly flustered. "I can't investigate her. I trust Jennifer, you know." I sighed and said, "It's because you're like this, Jason, that Jennifer does whatever she wants. For the sake of Rebecca and Nancy, please find out if she's cheating on you right away." Though initially reluctant, Jason's resistance faded under my determination. He hesitantly agreed to hire a detective to investigate any infidelity. A month later, as usual, Jennifer dropped off the kids and left. However, that day, she didn't return even after midnight. I tried contacting Jennifer's cell phone multiple times, but couldn't get through. I had no choice but to reach out to Jason. A few hours later, Jason, coming from afar, whispered while looking at the sleeping faces of Rebecca and Nancy, "I've about reached my limit." Given the late hour that night, Rebecca, Nancy, and Jason all stayed at our house. Jennifer finally returned the next morning. As I was preparing breakfast, a cheerful Jennifer arrived, reeking of alcohol, and said, "I'm back." "Where were you? What were you thinking?" Even as I confronted her angrily, Jennifer just laughed it off irresponsibly. "Going out without a word? Partying all night? Don't you have any sense of responsibility as a mother?" When I pressed her further, her expression suddenly changed. She snapped, "You think you're so righteous. You don't have kids, so you'll never understand my stress." I was so furious that I fell silent. Jennifer, with a smug look on her face, continued, "You can't have kids, which means you lose to me in every way as a woman. Be it looks, upbringing, finances, I'm superior in every aspect. And if I was single, I'd have countless men chasing after me, you know." "Don't you feel sorry for Rebecca and Nancy?" I asked, exasperated. She snapped back, "Feel sorry? What would you, a childless woman, know about it? Don't pretend you understand. Enough is enough. If you're their mother, at least make dinner for them." I didn't back down and countered, "You sure talk a lot, especially for someone who doesn't have kids." Just as Jennifer shouted back, there was a sudden splash. A splash out of nowhere. Patricia, who had been in the kitchen, had thrown soup from a pot all over Jennifer. "Ah! What are you doing?" Jennifer cried out, both shocked and upset. I was equally stunned, unable to believe what I had just witnessed. Jennifer, now drenched in soup, stood there, completely taken aback. Just then, alerted by Jennifer's screaming, her husband and Jason rushed into the kitchen. Alerted by Jennifer's screams, her husband and Jason quickly entered the kitchen. Seeing Jason, Jennifer immediately cried out, "Jason, help me! Patricia and Emily have been so cruel to me." But Jason responded coldly, "Don't touch me," and pushed Jennifer away. What's gotten into you, Jason?" Jennifer, her face flushed with embarrassment, began to panic. "Everyone here knows about your late-night escapades," I told her pointedly. The color drained from Jennifer's face. "What are you talking about? What do you know?" Jennifer demanded, her face beet red. Jason shouted, "I know about your affair. We're getting a divorce." In truth, About a week earlier, we had gathered at a local restaurant without Jennifer. During this gathering, Jason had shared the results of the investigation into her infidelity with us. According to the investigation, Jennifer was out hunting for men in nightclubs and bars almost every night. When she found someone she liked, they would head to a hotel. That seemed to be her pattern. Once Jason learned of Jennifer's betrayal, he was set on the path to divorce and started making preparations immediately. "Divorce? I don't want that!" Panic evident in her voice. However, Jason firmly stated, "We have all the evidence. Please leave immediately. I'll take custody of the kids." Jennifer suddenly burst into laughter, smugly retorting, "Humph! You, always engrossed in your work, could never handle raising kids on your own. You can't do it without me." I countered Jennifer's arrogance. "Don't worry, I'll take full responsibility for raising the children." "What?" Jennifer glared at me, utterly confused by what I had just said. But Jason firmly stated, "I've asked everyone here. From now on, we'll all raise the children together, so we'll be fine without you." Even Jennifer seemed to be in shock at Jason's declaration. She resisted at first, but when faced with the overwhelming evidence of her affairs, it appeared she realized her situation was hopeless. Still reeking of soup, she resignedly filled out the divorce papers. In despair, Jennifer uttered, "What will become of me now, having lost everything?" I couldn't resist and retorted, "I'm sure you'll be fine after the divorce, Jennifer. After all, didn't you just boast about how you'd have tons of men flocking to you if you were single?" Jennifer broke down in tears at my words. It was the moment when all the resentment I'd held against her seemed to finally dissipate. After the divorce was finalized, Jason continued working in the countryside for a while. As a result, my husband and I primarily took on the responsibility of raising Rebecca and Nancy. I never managed to have children of my own, but I've been blessed with the joy of raising the adorable Rebecca and Nancy. Patricia, too, looks delighted playing with her granddaughters every day. While I was worried about them not having their mother around, it's evident that Rebecca and Nancy are thriving, surrounded by our love. With Jennifer gone, a peaceful life finally graced our home. As for Jennifer, I heard she's been juggling part-time jobs and living in a cheap apartment. Having never worked before, Jennifer seems to be struggling constantly losing jobs or quitting. On top of her living expenses, she has to pay compensation to Jason. It seems she's been long cut off from her family, so with no one to rely on, her life sounds pretty tough. Jennifer, who always held herself above others, probably can't maintain such an attitude anymore. I genuinely hope this turn of events encourages her to change and live a more humble life.